Hello and welcome to Take It From the Top.
A singer's guide to working, thriving and surviving in the music industry.
For more episodes and videos, hit subscribe and head over to our YouTube channel where you can bruise our egos with your comments and questions.
Shall we take it from the top?
Let's do it.
So having started off last time with a bit of a general theme, this week we're going to talk about ensembles, what it is to sing in a group. That's something you and I have both got quite a lot of experience of, so hopefully we can talk about that.
We're going to really focus in.
We are going to focus
on one subject.
Yeah, absolutely. The reason we kind of said we were going to do this is because of our approach, what we both do, because of our backgrounds, and there's quite a lot of experience there. So starting off with kind of me, because it's your favourite subject.
I
know, right? I love that word, don't you? Me. My background, obviously, being in choral music and very classical ensemble, but then going into musical theatre, there's a big crossover there. But then that kind of Venn diagram of ensemble singing, I think musical theatre sits in the middle of that somewhere.
Yeah.
Between. Yeah.
Okay, so tell me from the very beginning. So were you really young?
Yes.
So it was all before the broken voice.
Before the broken voice,
now, choirs. Barely any vibrato, am I right? Was there pure sound?
Yeah, and really a real emphasis on pure sound.
Okay.
And musicality, but exactly what's written. So
right.
What is on that page is what you do. All of those instructions, they're not just the notes you sing. There's no interpretation there. Okay. And of course, you then got a conductor.
Yes.
Emphasising those, very rarely disagreeing with them. So you're being trained to take in everything that's on the page and sing it exactly as Sumption,
no deviation,
or Stanford, or going like right back if you're going to add a Purcell. It's what they want. Okay. That's what they wanted when they wrote it, and that's what they're going to get.
Okay. Were you taught the parts, or were you all fantastic sight readers?
You would train so you'd
walk into a rehearsal at the age of how old? I'm excited.
Like 8.
I'm excited. 8. Oh my
and it's
goodness.
kind of it's a kind of process of inculcation. You learn by doing, and you live it. So you stand next to someone, they sing, and you kind of pick up the line. You have theory lessons and music lessons, and most people in that situation are learning the piano or they're learning an instrument because
so they have their basic training.
Yeah. And then alongside that, you're also singing with pros.
Yes.
So you've got people around you who are absolutely like top of their game in that field, and they can read and sight read. And
as we discussed in the last episode, that is so important to be around people who are brilliant at their job already.
If you're around someone who's good, watch them the whole time. Watch them and just enjoy watching them and kind of going, what can I learn from you?
Was there any point where you noticed, like, did the conductor or was it a musical director?
Conductor, musical director.
So would they ever point out if someone was sticking out? Or
absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
And your blend had to be one voice, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, it was with varying levels of kind of... I'm trying to think of the right word. Varying levels of tact, I suppose. Of varying from there's something not quite right that side. I'm hearing a little something coming over there.
Was it quite polite?
No, that was one way of doing it. Or there was a sort of you're out, sort that out. So it
depends. Does it depend on the conductor as well?
Yeah, because some are just bastards.
And how did you feel? Did you prefer? Because obviously we also went to the same theatre.
We did,
and there was a lot. They were very strict, not necessarily polite, quite aggressive in the approach sometimes. Not everybody, not all our teachers, but some of them.
But
did you prefer that? Did you like someone being direct and strict with you rather than polite and ambiguous?
You know where you are, and actually, if we're thinking, we're probably thinking of the same person, and if we are, he was an organist, and.
Really?
Yeah. So he's an organist, and so he knows all that stuff. And actually, that a lot of conductors and a lot of people in that sort of churchy choral world, they want perfection, but they also want people to kind of learn. They want people to get it right.
Yes.
So it comes from a good place, but not always.
It always does come from a good place. It's
absolutely.
just that some people work well with that sort of strict way of teaching, and some people don't. Some people need love and nurture, and they need encouragement, because obviously it can make you go into yourself.
Exactly.
But on the other hand, if you can handle those sorts of situations, it means you can step into any room.
And it means you're very, very well. I mean, I teach a few kids at the theatre school at the moment who are choristers, and they stick out like a sore thumb because their level of training is way beyond their age group.
Yes.
You know, you only have to sing something to them once and they've got it. And harmony singing, if you're doing harmony singing with a group of kids, the ones that sing and are choristers, they can do it.
Yeah.
They can just do it.
However, can we talk about vowel sounds?
Oh, God.
Because if you take somebody out of that and try and throw them into...
It's all very pronounced. But you can drill that out to people.
Can you?
I try. I mean,
you try.
I mean, I don't want to offend the entire population of Peterborough, but the big problem I have with teaching is I teach a lot in Peterborough. I am from Peterborough, so don't be offended, Peterbororeans, if you're listening. But their vowels are really awful. They're so awful. And and it drives me absolutely nuts, because you are working with, and again, that's an ensemble thing I always say to them, your vowels are really, if your vowels are different to each other, it will sound...
Well, it's about listening, isn't it? Especially this particular subject.
Yeah.
So with the choral thing as well, obviously you get to a certain age, and what happens then? Can you continue with that sound?
From every
professionally.
For every boy, you voice breaks, and then you go, and that's it, you're out. And then it does take.
But then you can go down the classical route, probably. Or
exactly. And I've heard people say that boys' voices don't mature until their late 20s, but girls' voices mature a lot earlier. And I think that is true. And looking back now, when I think of the stuff I sang at university and early sort of through that, there was no that richness and that kind of maturity doesn't come until later. So you get a lot of the young sort of lads trying to be all sort of, and you just kind of think, no,
too early,
don't do it. Just let that happen.
Yeah.
So having explored that, how does that compare with, because you've sung in ensembles for years?
Yes. Well, lots of different ones.
Sure.
So I've done the sort of pop choir thing, the soul choirs, backing for pop artists. So we'd go in, for example, the studio for Ellie Goulding, and we did a choir for her. We did actually have sheet music, I think, for that, which was interesting. But you can sometimes be put with a lot of singers who you don't know. So you have no idea who they are. Some of them you know really well. You'll have seen them on the scene, but you won't necessarily have sung with all these people before. So you have to use your ears and very quickly blend, know what the sound's going to be. But because most people have been doing it for a while before you get into that scenario, you won't just randomly be a singer and suddenly be called up for a session like that. You're used to doing that. And working together and being very quick and using your ears, because not everyone can read. So people are sort of super quick with that side of things. I've also done the film sessions where they do hit the ding and everyone's got to sing, and those people are fantastic. And I'm very far behind them. I didn't get called much after that first session. So I've had experience with different things. And then you've obviously got the backing vocal scenario, where again you could get called up as a section, so with people that you're used to singing with, or people you don't know at all. Again, so you could be called into the studio, and that just depends on whether you've got a musical director or a producer or the artists themselves in the room. Every single room is different. So you can go in, sometimes the sheet music's there, sometimes they have nothing, and they say, right, sort of, let's play the track. And then you'll sit there and they go, oh, we want something here, something like, especially if you've got a producer that can't sing, and they go, nah, nah. And then you go, what, like this? And then you sing something, and they go, yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking of.
And it was my talent that got that right, not yours.
Exactly. And you come up with something with the producer or with the artist. Or with the other singers that you're with. Sometimes you could be asked to arrange something before you get in there, especially if it's going to be one of those early Radio 2 live performances.
Yeah.
It's best to sort of one of you arrange something and send it to the others. It really just depends, but everything, all of those scenarios about your ears.
Yes.
Because the singer next to you, who you may not have sung with before, might have a completely different tone to you, and you have to sort of meet in the middle and also change parts. So I think with the classical thing, you're either a soprano or you're an alto.
Yeah.
You know, that's the way it is. Whereas with us, there's definitely been times in the studio where I'll go, should we just swap parts because my voice is cutting through too much at the top and yours is getting lost. Let's swap. So you're changing all the time for blend, basically. And also it depends on the song, the style of song, on whether you want something to poke out, whether you want it to sit back. It's really is, just depends on each song. So it's completely different.
And was there a moment that it clicked for you, that singing, or is that something you've always been able to do?
Oh, yeah, I was obsessed with it. I was one of those annoying people that when the radio comes on, harmonise throughout a whole song. Yeah, all the time, always singing the backing vocal parts. I loved it. And then when I started in the recording studio, I think I was about 12, 13. I started working there, obviously then recording all my own songs, and I just used to layer harmonies up. I was obsessed. I think at the time I really liked Mariah Carey as well, and you listen to her records and they're just full of all these little counter melodies and breathy parts and then big parts and then gospel-y things, and I was obsessed with gospel music as well. I didn't go to church. I wasn't part of a choir, but I loved it. I just love it. I love how it sounds. I love how it makes me feel. You know, it does make you want to believe just by listening. But I was I was just obsessed with it, basically. So it's something that I've always done. I've always heard it. I've always wanted to do it.
And it's a different approach, because you and I have worked together in the same room with groups of kids before, even 15, 20 years ago when we were sort of working together for the first time.
Yes.
When
I was a choreographer.
No, after that.
Oh,
do you not
okay.
remember? It must be like 2007, 8. We did. I was running one of the theatre school's choirs, and you came in just to do a session with us.
And did I do the Christmas?
Yeah.
Yes, I remember.
And,
I did Silent Light. I was just making it up on the spot.
Yeah, which is so. My method is always right. It's there written down. I teach the parts, and then you can come into a room and go, "What's the song?" I'll sort that out, and then you build. And it's always interested me, the two different ways of working, because there is nothing wrong or right about those two ways of working.
No,
but I think they frustrate.
You're
one
always
frustrates
safer.
the other.
You're always safer.
I'll give you
because
that.
you might not have the emotional capacity.
But you know it works because it's on paper.
Yeah, it's already there.
Yeah.
And also the joy of that is how you feel on each day. Musically, you might create something different.
Yeah.
If I was making something up on one day, I might have done it completely differently if I'd have thought about it the next day. And in fact, I remember that session because I remember somebody sang a wrong note. I think they were actually out of tune because I'd just done the melody part and someone was singing out of tune and I heard this part and I was like, ooh. And so I nicked this wrong note and I created a new part out of it. And it was so exciting. But obviously, if I'd had it written down, I wouldn't have done that.
I think I even remember the child it was, actually.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good fun.
It was, but both ways are a really interesting creative process, and I think anyone who wants to sing in any form, whether it's being the soloist or I think singing in ensemble. If there's an opportunity to sing in an ensemble, I think people should do it.
Absolutely,
I think it's the most fulfilling thing that a musician can do is to sing or play with other people.
I know we said we weren't going to talk about individual artists today, but even Billie Eilish, for example, they came from that choral background, and you can tell when you listen to her records this sort of layered harmony approach, and it's beautifully written. It's done, and they're perfectionists. You can tell. Yeah. And as I said, Dave Arch, I think his dad was a choral leader. There's some jazz musicians I work with who are phenomenal, all started off in the church, doing that.
I genuinely think it's a sound knowledge of the core principles of harmony.
Yeah.
Because even playing a hymn, I mean, hymns
it's written perfectly.
yeah, and it's prescribed.
It's exciting.
You can't have consecutive octaves. You can't have consecutive fifths. Everything is so strict.
Yeah. But it's perfect.
And it's exactly. So organists and choir singers know that stuff because they've sung it and it's part of them. That's why most, like in Germany, the organist doesn't get the harmony; they just get the line, and they are so good at doing it. They just harmonise it.
They already know exactly because there are rules, and the rules aren't to be broken.
No, you see that line and you just go, "I can do that," and they do it.
But everyone, even Rick Wakeman, all of his albums, you'll hear he does loads and loads of. Oh, sorry, I forgot. Loads of hymns. Sorry. Yeah, he always does hymns. Yeah. He loves them, and he plays. And again, a lot of the backing singers I work with, some of my favourite singers like Charlene Hector, they've all come from the church. It's just the best training.
Yeah, so the church does have some positive aspects.
It has lots of positive aspects.
Some of them.
It really does.
So.
And listening. You've got to listen. The thing is with all of these things is they sound like one voice. It's not about an individual sound poking through. I can always tell when we've booked somebody or somebody's been booked onto a session that just isn't used to singing as part of a group, and their voice sticks out. They don't quite come off at the same time as everyone else. They're not listening. The vowel sounds aren't the same. The vibrato's not the same. And I know in musical theatre, for example, that like someone tells you, we're going to start to vib on this beat, or you don't really get that in a BV section. You've got to listen. It happens. It just happens naturally.
Yeah. One of the first things when I went to university to do music, one of the first things we were told in choral studies was, it's not singing in harmony that's hard. It's singing in unison.
Yes. That's the hardest.
The hardest thing.
Oh my goodness! And you try doing that with in-ears, right? Mm-hmm. So obviously with the pop gigs when you're doing a BV thing, I hate in-ears so much, and I know that lots of sound engineers are going to go, it's because I'm not doing the sound. It's not that. It's just because you've closed off your ears. Literally, there's a room sound that you've lost. It's nothing to do with whether someone's good at their job. Yeah. You're all fantastic sound engineers. You're brilliant.
It's kind of like having tunnel glasses going, well, I can see the sheet music. That's all that matters.
It's just like going underwater.
Yeah.
It's like, and you've lost just the general. So if we're blending, what do I do with the young singers? I get them in a circle, right? When we're doing 3-part, 4-part harmony, because then you can hear if your side's too loud. You need to bring it down. You need to bring it up. You're seeing each other's mouth shapes. You're seeing all that. And then the second you stick in ears in, you've just sort of lost the general room thing. And it just makes me sad. It just makes me sad. But it's very modern because now they can compress you and everybody's like... And it's clean. Everything's clean out front. We can edit it. It's clean.
But sometimes a little bit of dirt's okay.
I love dirt. Yeah. It's all about the filth for me. No, it really is. My favourite thing about music is like, I don't know, the New Orleans funk thing or something where something starts at one tempo and finishes at another. No, there's no clicks. It's happening. Yeah. It's a moment. You're capturing a moment. Yeah. And that's what I love about anything live, about group singing, it's that, and it'll sound different every time. It'll feel different every time.
But that feel that you get, that knowledge you gain, that kind of community that you get around ensemble singing, there's nothing that beats it for training in terms of what people want to do in the industry. If you can do that, you can do that. You can't be a front person and not know how that happens behind you.
Well, I don't know. You can do it, actually. You can. And it's really interesting seeing the artists that aren't used to it, because they're always shocked when they walk in and there's an orchestra or there's a choir and they're like, oh my gosh, it sounds so amazing, guys. And they can't believe that they can walk into a room and just start reading the music. But it's quite nice. It's like two different worlds colliding. And again, that can be brilliant for creating something different musically as well. So I think it really depends on where you want to go. But I personally love it, and I think it's super important. But not everyone needs to do it.
No. I always think about you saying about going in an orchestra, sort of being there and being able to do it. There is a slight... I love the fact that reaction comes, and that orchestra person was probably on the stage of the Royal Albert Hall last night playing Shostakovich.
Yeah, I know.
And
now they're playing long notes.
Tricky,
I know.
and all they're now doing is just sitting there doing that.
I know, really bored, counting the minutes because they're on MU time. And they can't.
Thank you, MU.
Do not have overtime. I know.
Break every hour and a half or whatever.
And also, I say it's brilliant blending those worlds together, but I wouldn't say everyone does, because obviously then they've got live drums. They don't like the drums. They certainly don't like a monitor bellowing vocals in their face. They don't have click. You see that it's like two completely different worlds.
You see that working in pits, because I my work varies from playing in like a modern show that does have in-ears and you've got monitors everywhere and it's all very technical and you're squeezed in. And then I can be in a pit with GNS and I've got the cellist shouting at me because the drummer's taken up too much room or they're too loud, or this is...
Where are the screens?
Why are there microphones above our heads? And you kind of just go... It's the different people that make up all of these different groups. You'd think when you say about, I'm a musician or I'm a singer, and people sort of go, oh, you must work with everyone. You just go...
No, they're all different worlds.
Totally different worlds.
I suppose my favourite, I think that's why I like doing the Rick Wakeman gigs, the prog rock thing, because we've been on tour with orchestras and choirs. So from the very choral, and Rick, it's prog rock. It's like sometimes the solos will go on for ages. But obviously, from a classical perspective, you're counting bars, you have a conductor, and they're two different worlds, and you can see the panic on their faces if it's not quite going exactly as written.
Yeah.
Whereas rock doesn't go exactly where it's written. It's like it's completely crazy.
My head.
But it's really lovely hearing some of those lines and stuff done on an electric guitar. It's brilliant. It's so exciting.
Yeah.
But I think that's my favourite because it's the two. I like friction. I do. I like friction in music.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
Like the same with when jazz meets rock, or I love the mesh of things meeting.
And I think that's the whole thing with any ensemble, whether it's orchestral or it is choral or, modern pop and rock choirs. I mean, they're huge these days, rock choirs and pop choirs.
I know.
And they're great because it means
Which
people
we
are
will
doing
be
them.
starting. Come and join.
Very good.
Very talented.
But the thing with them is... They have opened up this whole world, and I think lockdown especially got people singing.
Yeah,
because people were running things online and they were putting Zoom choirs in and everything else. And when they left, suddenly there were a few choirs I worked with. We lost members because they kind of went, "There's a pop choir starting, so we're going to go and join that." Yeah. Which is great. It's fine. Go and try. As we said, we've said it in the last episode. We'll say it today. Try everything. So, go and have a listen to what other people do and how they do it, and especially in different genres that are so alien to you. Because, obviously, I went from like churchy choral stuff into musical theatre. The churchy choral people now are like because there's a snobbery in all music. They're like,
especially in yours.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Darling.
Says her.
They were horrible to me.
But they do.
I wasn't made for that.
But you there is a slight snobbery in it, and they're like, it's not real music. And you sometimes sit in a pit playing stuff with a click going in that ear. You've got patches to change.
I know.
And you kind of just go, come and have a go. Go on, come and have a go if you think you can.
They are all super different, though. They are. But and then the jazz world that look down on the pop world. Everyone's looking down on each other's. And even eras, you then get to, music was better in the 50s. Music was better in the 60s. Music was better in the 20s.
Only if it's Ave Novello. But, so I think I think anything to do with ensemble singing, if you can get that experience, go and do it.
Yes.
And it's a valuable experience that you and I both share. And although we are in different places now, we do different things, we work in very different spheres, But actually our background, when you really tear it down to the bare bones, is it started on ensemble singing.
Yeah, it's a great skill to have. And as I say, most of the pros that I work with have had some kind of experience.
Yeah.
I think it's super important.
We're being waved at.
Yeah, being waved
we better
at.
think about wrapping up. Give us a couple of words on what we've talked about for this episode.
Okay, section singing, fabulous thing. Group singing, come and join some of our workshops. We'll be doing some coming to a city near you very, very soon. I would say the best thing about it is learning to use your ears, listening ears.
I can't disagree with any of that. And
no. Most people can't.
Wow, definitely time to end it there. Hit like, subscribe, and sign up for notifications for new episodes. And we'll see you next time when we take it from the top.